Championship clubs have been making serious statements going into the new season, with final pre-season games being played today and some serious results and some definitely eye-opening results in pre-season taking place in this final game before the championship season kicks off next week. Now, of course, for pre-season, you've got to take the results with a pinch of salt, but definitely ideal for these championship teams getting a final win going into the new season, and some real statement performances and statement wins from individual teams going into the new season. If you're a championship fan, then do hit subscribe on this channel. We do daily championship content, so if you want to watch championship content this season, this is the place to be for the daily content. And do drop a like as well if you do go on to enjoy the video. Now, what better way is there to start off than with Birmingham City, who beat Nottingham Forest 1-0 and put out the tweet of the day as well, saying that they beat Mr. Marinakis, Nottingham Forest. We all know what's happened with Mr. Marinakis trying to be the main event, and I mean, whatever he's done with Morgan Gibbs-White to get him to stay at Nottingham Forest. We've all been talking about Mr. Marinakis, and we all know all about him, and Birmingham City are making it clear that it's all about Mr. Marinakis, and they said that they beat Mr. Marinakis' with Nottingham Forest at 1-0, and a really good performance apparently from Birmingham, and the atmosphere at the stadium apparently was electric and was really good for a pre-season friendly, and positive signs going into the new season. You know, Nottingham Forest, I know it's a friendly, but Nottingham Forest got European football last season and were right up at the top of the league for the majority of the season until the back end of the season. So it's a real statement win. Now, of course, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. It's pre-season at the end of the day. But you look at the team that Nottingham Forest put out, and it was no terrible Nottingham Forest team. It was no second team from Nottingham Forest. They had a couple of backup players, but the vast majority of their team was starters from last season, bar the full-backs. They obviously normally have Aina at right back and Nico Williams at left back. And then other than that, you maybe take out Sangare and put in Ryan Yates. And then up front, you probably have Chris Wood over Jesus. But they've still got, these players are still very good players, and players that have played minutes for Nottingham Forest in the past, especially like Sangare. And Murato played a few last season with these new signings as well. It's a decent Nottingham Forest team that Birmingham put away. And Jay Stansfield, great for his confidence, getting himself a goal that wasn't from the penalty spot, which is ideal. Definitely good for the confidence going into the new season, into that championship season. And Birmingham, of course, putting out a very strong starting 11, and it will be quite a similar starting 11 we expect to see next week in the championship against Ipswich. But I just wanted to bring your attention to the substitutes bench as well for Birmingham. This is why I do believe they will be right up there. I really think they've got a great chance of getting at least playoffs at a minimum this season. I genuinely think they're outsiders for maybe automatic promotion this season. I think the bookies have maybe even got them as third or fourth favourites to go on and to finish third or fourth in the table. That's how highly the bookies are rating Birmingham City. And it's a whole energy around the club, of course, with the atmosphere at the stadium, the signings that they've made. But I wanted to turn your attention to the substitutes bench, where, of course, their starting 11 is so strong, by the way, as well. Really strong starting 11, which, you'd be very comfortable playing that starting 11 in the first game against Ipswich in a week's time. But you look at the substitutes that came on, they've got so many options in there. Kyogo didn't start the game, it was Jay Stansfield up top. Kyogo comes off the bench after 59 minutes. Williamson, Leonard, you've also got Cashin as well, who we know was a top championship centre-back. Ethan Laird's a very good player at championship level, in my opinion. And all of these options coming off the bench, they're all very, very strong options. And it's a strong squad, and that's what you need if you're going to be fighting for promotion come the end of the season. You're going to get injuries throughout the championship season, and Birmingham are... well, they do have that kind of depth in the squad that maybe some other teams don't have to that kind of level. And that's with the transfer window, by the way, still having about a month left, where Birmingham can still make a couple more signings. They've already spent much money other than maybe Kyogo. And other than that, they've really spent that much money in the transfer window. Not a great deal for Birmingham's kind of capabilities in the transfer market. So you think they could definitely get a couple more deals through the line and make a couple more statement signings where you think these guys could be genuine contenders for automatic promotion. Now, as I say, you can't get carried away with the Nottingham Forest result, but I'm just talking about their squad in general and the atmosphere at the stadium and the ownership. I really do think of Birmingham see an opportunity to see Leicester probably getting a points deduction, and then all it takes is Ipswich and Southampton to not perform to the levels. You're talking about then a potential opportunity for maybe an automatic spot up for grabs if one of those teams don't perform to the levels we expect. And I think the ownership at Birmingham really do sense this as an opportunity to maybe get that back-to-back. And of course, they've got the new stadium being built. They want to be in the Premier League for that. They're not messing about, and I really think they're making strides towards that. And honestly, the next game, well, the first game of the season, the next game for Birmingham City against Ipswich, it's going to be an absolute cracker. It's the ultimate welcome to the Championship and the ultimate kind of advert for the Championship for the first game of the season. You couldn't handpick a better game, in my opinion. Friday night, under the lights at St Andrews, against the promotion favourites and, the heavy favourites to go on and walk the league, what a lot of people are saying, in Ipswich Town. Birmingham have an opportunity to make a real statement on that first game of the season. And vice versa as well for Ipswich, by the way, who will, of course, also themselves have a big opportunity to make themselves a statement of their own, because, of course, a lot of people talking about Birmingham City thinking they'll be up there, including myself. They could shut people up pretty quickly in the first game week if they do go and beat Birmingham City convincingly, or just beat them in general. I think that may be could be a bit of a reality check in terms of our expectations for Birmingham. We could look at it like that, but of course it's only one match, and it will be an absolute cracker. There's no denying that. On a Friday night, first game of the season, I am buzzing to see that game, and I think it'll be an unbelievable watch. And that wasn't it in terms of pre-season results. There was some real interesting results, and that, of course, Birmingham beating Premier League opposition. You also had another team playing against Premier League opposition that did pick up a result, and that was Southampton, who were playing against Brighton in their pre-season friendly match. They went 2-0 down, and they ended up levelling it up and drawing the match 2-2, where Brighton had a very strong team out. They had Minter, of course. Minter up top, who scored 2 goals. He had Matoma, I think, set one up as well. Ruter, they had a really strong front line, and Southampton in the second half turned the game around. And I wanted to speak about this guy right here, Jay Robinson. If you're not aware of who he is, then you'll probably be aware of him in the next few months in the Championship, in my opinion. I think he's going to get some decent minutes, and he's a player that's very versatile and has looked really impressive in pre-season so far for Southampton. And of course, all the focus and all the talk is about Tyler Diblin at Southampton, their academy product that's come through, and rightfully so, because he was very good in spells last season. Of course, he kind of dropped off in the second half of the season, and he might end up moving on. Who knows? There's interest from multiple clubs. I think they had an offer that come in for Tyler Diblin, which they rejected maybe as well, something like that anyway. So Tyler Diblin might not be there come the end of the window, but it's unbelievable how they, in my opinion, they've got a replacement for Tyler Diblin, which obviously Tyler Diblin is going to be a very good player, and I think he will be a Premier League player in future years. And this guy's obviously not getting spoken about to the same levels yet because he simply just hasn't played enough. But this guy is a serious talent. Jay Robinson, as I say, he can play all kind of in that area, in that attacking third. And I think he's going to get utilised quite a lot in that Southampton team. And scoring a goal against Premier League opposition for Brighton is only going to do his kind of his chances in starting the first game of the season, or at least being involved in the squad this season, a world of good. And you look at his record for Southampton under 21s, 17 goals in 55 games. This guy is definitely one to watch this season. I'm sure Southampton fans will already be aware and already be talking about him, but definitely a player that people in Championship fans need to be aware of going into the new season, because he is one to watch. And the firepower in Southampton in general, they have Cameron Archer, Adam Armstrong, they also got Damien Downs as well, they also got Cameron Stewart as well. They got so many options in there. So Southampton, I do think, are looking like a good prospect going into the new season, and a good result for them in pre-season. Of course, results don't really matter, but coming back from a 2 goals down against a Premier League opposition is definitely a very good result for Southampton, and they could be a team, in my opinion, that could be up there come the end of the season. Also as well, Ipswich did get a very good result as well, playing against Orcs. Sorry if I said that wrong, but if I just have a look, I'm pretty sure they finished in a decent position in the French League last season. If we just quickly have a look, they finished 11th in the French League last season, so a decent team over in French football. Ipswich absolutely put them to the sword and put 3 goals past them, and they're going to be making the signing of Kyogo as well, which is going to be, I mean, for me, that almost confirms Ipswich getting promoted. I think he's that good in the centre of midfield, and of course they're the opponents for Birmingham on the first game, so we could see that Kyogo first game back at Ipswich in that game. But I think a statement 3-0 win. They also beat Charlton 2-1 as well. They've had a pretty decent pre-season, Ipswich have, in terms of their results. They're all them 3 results that are showing 3 goals in 2 of them, and as well as that win against Charlton as well. I think Ipswich are definitely preparing for the season well, and with a signing of Kyogo as well, I do think they will be up there, of course, and right at the top of the league, in my opinion, come the end of the season. So a pretty good result there for Ipswich going into their new season against Birmingham City as well. And then if you look as well, there was another Premier League team, actually, there was a third one that I forgot to talk about. That was Stoke City against Burnley, where things are starting to look a little bit better for Stoke in recent in the last week or so. Anyway, in the last couple of weeks, anyway, Stoke is looking a little bit better after the start of pre-season, looking interesting. I think Stoke actually do have a decent team, and of course getting a result against Burnley, which is a pretty strong Burnley team there. Of course, they were missing a few players, Burnley were, but to get a result against them is definitely a positive going into the new season. And I think they'll be just fine this season, Stoke. I don't think they'll be in relegation, but I don't think they'll be kind of getting playoffs. But a good win for them against a Premier League opposition where, you know, Southampton get a draw, Birmingham beat Premier League opposition, and then Stoke beat Premier League opposition. You've got 0 losses today against Premier League opposition until you go to QPR, my team, who of course lost to Brentford. but the less we talk about that one, the better. But then there was also West Brom, which had a wild game against Rayo Vallecano, where there was no goals. It was 0-0 until the 70th minute, where there was then 5 goals in 14 minutes, which is just mental. And a player that I wanted to talk about is Isaac Price, and he's a player that's definitely one to watch in my opinion this season. He's so versatile, and he's been very impressive. I think for West Brom last season, the second half of the season when he signed was decent, but I think for Northern Ireland he's been really impressive for his country, and he's a player who can play in multiple different areas. I'd imagine he'll kind of be playing in at least a central role, I'd hope, for West Brom this season, maybe in the number 10 I'd hope to see him, and that's probably where he's best. Definitely best going forward. I think he's better off going forward than he is defensively. So I'd like to see him in kind of the number 10 role, or at least on that left wing, where hopefully we can see the best out of him. Only 21 years old, and I'm expecting big things from him this season. So West Brom, under Ryan Mason, getting themselves a positive result in pre-season. And just now, 1 week to go to Championship football. Those are the last preparation games, I believe, now, until the new season, unless there's any games behind closed doors on the Tuesday, but I doubt it. So really excited for the new season coming up. Of course, Birmingham opening it up on that Friday night. Absolutely buzzing to watch that game. And let's hope for an amazing season of Championship football. And things in pre-season have definitely looked positive for a lot of Championship teams, especially in that last week. Anyway, if you're a Championship fan, then do drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. It only takes 1 second. And if you watch this point, you may as well hit that subscribe button. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one.